Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Thank you for watching my last video if you did, and if you didn't, please go and watch it and check it out. It would mean a lot to me if you did. I realized that when I did my last video I kind of got straight into things, which was completely intentional. I wanted to kind of dive straight into something rather than a bit of a get to know me type video, but this video is going to be a get to know me because now you've seen a little bit about something that I've got up to. Maybe you want to know, or maybe you don't really care, but I'm going to tell you anyway a little bit more about me and what I'm about. So I hope that's okay with you. I've got some questions that I've seen other YouTubers, vloggers, bloggers do on some of their channels, and I've not really picked which ones I'm going to do. I'm kind of just going to read what I've got with me and go with some of them, if that's all right. So I'm going to kick off with an easy one, and they're here. That's why I'm kind of looking down here, which is, what time's your bedtime? And actually, I don't think that is an easy one. Generally, we start thinking about going to bed at around 10, but it depends whether I've got a full face of makeup to take off, skincare to do, or whether I can slap some moisturiser on my face and frankly just roll into bed. So we typically tend to go to bed about 10, in bed for 10:30 by the time I've kind of taken everything off. And then I tend to faff around on Instagram, TikTok I'm terrible for. And I also have been learning Spanish for a little while, which I won't probably be doing on here, because it's not worth your time listening to. But yeah, I've been learning Spanish. So I tend to do Duolingo a little bit in bed before I go to bed. So basically there's this whole face routine that I do, and then I get into bed and have this whole routine of things that I need to watch, do, learn before I can actually go to sleep. So sometimes I might go upstairs to bed at 10, but I'm not maybe sleeping until 12. Yeah, something like that. And oh my god, I forgot to say, I'm sat here because I thought this was a nice little Christmas background, maybe. It's really dark here in the UK. It is winter, so what do I expect? But it's 10 to 6 here in the UK, it's 6 in the evening. So it is pitch black outside. The Blackpool illuminations, if you know what I'm referring to, are off. The ambient lighting, the lamps are on. Christmas is on. So yeah, anyway, I'm doing what I classically do, which is get completely muffled, muddled, sidetracked in what I'm actually supposed to be talking about. And that's everything that I should have done at the start of the video, but we're here now, so let's continue with the show. So what have I got here? Okay, another easy one. What's your middle name? My middle name is Nicole. I have no other explanation than it's Nicole. So we shall move on. Give me your favorite holiday destination. I want to say Mexico. A, because it's a place I've been to. B, that's where I got engaged. C, it genuinely is possibly the best holiday that I've been on. It's the most beautiful place. I've always been, I don't know why, but I think historically I've always not turned my nose up at Mexico, but been a little bit like, oh, I don't get it. I'm not sure what it's about. If you're going to go to Mexico, why not go to the Caribbean? With complete ignorance, if I'm totally honest, and not really any understanding as to why you would want to go to Mexico and how it might be different from other places. But having been there now, and researched it a little bit before I went, it's one of the most beautiful places I've ever been to. The jungles that are there are phenomenal, amazing, so vast. When you fly in, if you fly into Cancun, depending which side of Mexico you come into, when you fly into Cancun, if you look out of the plane, you can see all these the greenery looks so dense that it kind of just looks like really green fields, and you think, wow, like I never thought Mexico would have all these farming fields. It's like the UK almost. And then when you look properly, you realize that they're not fields, that's dense jungle, really dense jungle, which is just mind-blowing. So that was kind of the first thing that I noticed. We went to some of the touristy spots, like the Mayan ruins that you can go and visit in Chichen Itza and Coba. We went to Coba, and you get to kind of walk around in that jungle setting, and having a guide to walk you through that and tell you about the history is so interesting. Really enjoyable. We also got to swim in the beautiful cenotes, which are like these underground kind of sinkholes and lakes, which are pretty much crystal clear once you're in there. I have a bit of a weird fear, which actually I don't think is on my list, but I don't really like swimming in water where I can't touch the bottom, and it's nothing to do with being a bad swimmer or anything like that. I just don't like the thought that something could go under my feet. I think it's a bit of an open water thing. So that was a little bit, but I did genuinely really quite enjoy it once I just relaxed. And the food is incredible. As I said before, I've been learning Spanish for a little while. I'm terrible at it, but I can kind of get by with some broken Spanish, if you like. And the Mexican people that we spoke to when we were there was so kind of welcoming of you wanting to try and learn their language or speak their language, and they're so forgiving. And I think sometimes you learn other languages and go to other countries, and there might be a little bit of an expectation of, well, you either speak the language or you don't. And if you can't, people just, I don't know, a little bit dismissive or speak to you back in English maybe because it'd be easier for them, which is fine. But I think sometimes we create stereotypes about that, and it being about a level of rudeness maybe. But the people in Mexico I've found were just so so welcoming and so forgiving about you trying to speak and learn their language. And we even spoke to we met a bartender in a bar, obviously, when we were there waiting for a restaurant reservation, and he was even teaching us little bits of extra lingo that was either typical of Mexican Spanish as opposed to Spanish from other countries, or just a bit more that will make you sound a little bit more native. Absolutely fantastic place. Love it. Would go back there in an absolute heartbeat. So I would say that is my favorite holiday destination. There are a lot of places that are on my list, and a lot of places that I feel I haven't had chance to explore yet. So it's definitely not going to be the only one there on my favorite list. I'm sure we do typically like to go to places that are Spanish speaking, and I do love Spain as well. So yeah, who knows? I'm sure I'll be able to update you in due course with others. What are your favorite values in friends? That is such a good question. And I think I'm trying to think of some of the qualities in my friends. And I think the first thing that stands out to me is I quite like a bit more of a dry sense of humour, and I think a lot of people in my friendship group do have a more dry sense of humour, and I really value that, and I like that. I think the British humour is always quite sarcastic, and I love that, thrive on that. I think another quality is, and I don't really know what the word maybe is to describe it, but there's a certain way that I like to treat my friends or hold myself to account in terms of the way that I either respond to my friends, I'm honest with my friends, have a level of integrity, I guess. And I like when my friends give me the same, kind of treat others how you want to be treated. And I think that I hope I do, generally treat people how I want to be treated. And so when I find a connection with someone who genuinely gives the same back to me that I give to them, that's a super special quality to me, because I'm sure most of you will agree, and I've experienced this myself in the past, is that not everyone does give you that. And I think there are always certain friendships that maybe over time you move away from because one person feels like they're giving more than the other person. And sometimes it's kind of coming down to things like lifestyle and changes in lifestyle, and we live in such a busy world, and trying to keep up with our own lives, never mind how others fit into that. But also sometimes I think as you maybe get older or your interests change, you kind of realize that the people that maybe were your friends for a time and were great friends during that time are just not the people that you're meant to be friends with forever. You kind of no longer compatible anymore, and that's okay. So I think that when you find somebody that kind of gives you everything that you give, cling on to that. What is your favorite restaurant? I love food. I have probably several favorite restaurants, and I live in Manchester, so it's a big place. There's plenty to choose from. I'd say one place that my husband and I go to time and time again is this Greek restaurant in Manchester. It's called Dimitri's, and they do things like moussaka, souvlaki, kleftiko, some other kind of traditional dishes that you think of when you think of Greece, but they do a lot of meze style, so it's kind of lots of small dishes of loads of different things, and I love that. That's one of my favourite places to go. What was your first job? My first job was a waitress. I was a waitress in a French UK style restaurant. It wasn't like a fine dining restaurant or anything, but it was quite a fancy restaurant. And that was in the local town where I grew up in my teenage years. I really liked that job. I liked the people that I worked for. I liked the regular customers that we had. And it was, it was not a glamorous job. But it was a nice first job to have. And I started that when I was 15, I think. Yeah, about 15. My dad basically marched me down to the little town with CV in hand, and I had to hand my CV into all the restaurants, bars, shops that had something going, just to earn myself a little bit of extra money on the weekends, basically. So that was that. Describe your fashion sense. So, I don't think I have a set style, I don't think. This, how would you describe this? I feel like it's kind of farmyard chic. I don't know. Yes, maybe Sorry, I've had to, yeah, mess with my hair now to get that all back in place. Farmyard chic. It's actually probably an accurate description of a lot of the things that I wear. I think when I was kind of mid to late teens. Okay, so I've never been a trend person. I've never been a trend person. Don't think I ever will be. They never suit me. I never have been the cool girl or anything like that. But when I was maybe 15 to 20, 21, I always tended to dress in like a pair of black jeans. Bear in mind, this was 2010s era, so I'm a millennial. Am I a millennial? I think I'm a millennial. I don't know. Am I a millennial? But in the 2010s, I was in skinny black jeans, and they were smart. Like I had a pair that were almost like chino jeans, and little dolly shoes. And my favourite pair that I had were this little pair of, does anyone remember the Vivienne Westwood Melissa collaboration? And they were these little black shoes with a little Vivienne Westwood logo on the side, and they had a big bow on the front. So I always used to wear those shoes. And then Zara just routinely would churn out these silk, satiny effect smart shirts. So I had, a plain cream one. I had one, it sounds odd, but it was my favourite one. It was like a off-white cream colour. It had two tiny little metal studs on the collar. And then in black and white, it had these really small jaguar heads. It sounds horrendous, but it actually was a really nice print shirt. And I had lots of the pussy bow shirts, those kind of things. And does anyone remember, because waistcoats are really in still, I think, now, but does anyone remember them when they were in the 2010s? Maybe I was a trend girl, I don't know, but I had a little waistcoat that was from Miss Selfridge, I think. And that kind of style was me through and through. And I also used to wear a lot of heeled boots, and my jeans would be tucked into my boots, and I'd wear a blazer, like black blazer, something like that. And that was typically my style between like 15 to maybe early 20s. And then I think in my 20s I went a bit all over the place, because I still had some of these things that I'd bought, because I also started to explore either more expensive high street pieces or lower price point designer pieces. I say pieces, things. I say pieces like I'm talking about, I don't know, a gown, when actually I mean like a t-shirt. So I used to have a few of those kind of things. So they actually wore so well that they carried me through most of my 20s. So in my 20s, I'd have a bit of a mix of stuff like that. And then just anything really that was kind of not trend, but keeping up with the times enough to get by throughout my 20s, like a bodycon dress, hundreds of those, if anyone remembers a bodycon dress. And then I think when I got to my late 20s, I kind of just looked at what I was wearing and thought, like you can do so much better. You need to start dressing for your age. And that's when I started wearing more things, like actually reverting back to what I was wearing when I was 15. And, a blazer, a nice shirt, black jeans, chinos, boots, that kind of thing. That's always been my go-to. I love a blazer, especially. I've got so many blazers, and you can't have too many. I promise you can never have too many blazers. But I also started wearing a lot of shirt dresses. And then as I spend more and more time maybe walking in the countryside, things like that, I just quite like a base layer and a gilet like what I've got on now. And then when you can actually make this look quite nice with a blazer over the top and a pair of, you know, riding style boots. But equally, you could throw on your massive sleeping bag coat and your walking boots or your stable boots and fit right in there too. So I kind of have a little bit of a mix of, it's either farmyard chic or some people describe actually when I do kind of a bit of a shirt, blazer, jeans, boots combo as that I just look equestrian, to be honest. So yeah, maybe it's kind of farmyard chic at the low end and equestrian chic at the high end, if there is a high end. But yeah, that's probably a really roundabout way of describing my fashion sense or my dress sense. But does anyone find it much easier to dress in winter than summer? Because I do. And I don't know if that's because of the style, because I feel very, very comfortable and at home in jeans, boots, blazer. That suits me to a T. Whereas I think as soon as I have to get a floaty dress on and it's not too warm but it's not too cold, I then don't know how to accessorize it. I don't know what top to wear with it. Do I wear a cardi? Does a blazer go with a dress? Do I wear dolly shoes and then because I'm wearing them with bare feet, does it go with the dress? Do I wear sandals but then I go to work, so I can't wear open toe shoes really in the office? And this is probably insanely boring to some people, so I'm really sorry for whittering on about it, but I find it so hard to dress in summer. Somebody just agree with me or tell me how to do it better. And maybe when my videos get to summer, you can help me then, please, if you wouldn't mind. So with that comes on to what's your favorite fashion brands. So I said before, when I was younger, I was maybe looking at things, buying some things that were higher price point, high street, and maybe lower price point designer like Vivienne Westwood. I used to get all my jeans from Vivienne Westwood. She used to do a collaboration with Lee, and they were the best fitting jeans I've ever owned. Ever. Even to this day, I've never owned a better fitting pair of jeans than all of my Vivienne Westwood and Lee collaboration jeans. And just to put it into perspective how good they were, so these jeans were about 120 to 150 pound a pair, which probably in the grand scheme of what you pay for that kind of pair of jeans now is nothing but expensive at the time. And the first pair that I bought, I was 17 or 18. I got rid of that first pair of jeans in lockdown, and I turned 30 in lockdown. How many years is that? So is that 13 years? So did they last me? They lasted me a long time. They lasted me a very long time. Similarly, the Melissa shoes that I spoke about, the bow for those shoes broke in lockdown. So those shoes lasted me all those years. And then, I went through a huge French Connection phase. So French Connection, I never really bought anything day to day from French Connection, but they used to do amazing bodycon dresses, and they used to do other just really nice, smart, but kind of young going out dresses, usually kind of knee length to slightly above the knee, which was perfect for me because I've never been like a short kind of girl when it comes to dressing. And obviously all the designer outlets sell French Connection as well, and they were all, you know, half price or more. So I'd buy these dresses that were like £150 maybe-ish a dress for like 20-30 quid. So I had so many of them. So Vivienne Westwood, French Connection were probably my young days favourite brands. I was around in the times of, you know, when Topshop and Miss Selfridge were at their peak as well. So I used to love those brands. Now I've got a few places where I really like to shop. I don't always necessarily look for the brand, but I quite like shopping on places like the Outnet, because you can obviously pick up things that ordinarily would be a little bit more expensive for quite a decent price. And for things like jeans, basics, a simple shirt dress or a simple shirt, things that are never going to be trendy or in style, out of style, they're always there. Those kind of websites are really, really good for picking up those kind of things that you need. But I've got a new favorite jeans brand. I don't think I will shop anywhere else unless I start to buy from any brands that are maybe a little bit more expensive. But if I did, I'd have to see that the fit and the quality was kind of worth the price. But where I'm buying a lot of jeans from at the moment is Good American, so Khloe Kardashian's brand. And I have a black pair that are stretchy and kind of slim fit from there, and also like a mum jean from there too. And again, because you can always get jeans in the sale, they retail for somewhere like £100 to £150, but actually if you can pick some up in the sale, you can pick them up for about £50-60, and the quality and the fit of them is worth, even at full price, I think it's worth the price. Whereas yes, I can buy a £25 pair of jeans from ASOS, but I'll have to buy that pair of jeans once or twice a year, which, you know, over time does add up, and they become scruffy and they get faded, and I get chub rub between the legs, so that's where they always wear out for me. So Good American is definitely one of my favourite brands. Tory Burch, I love Tory Burch. I think I'm not, it's not that I'm not into some of the Tennessee style things that the brand does, but it just it doesn't suit me. I like it and I love it on other people, but it doesn't suit me. But I've bought some nice shoes, shirt dresses from there. They have some really nice jumpers. I love their perfumes. Yeah, I really like Tory Burch, and that's also a brand that you can pick up on the Outnet for really good prices as well. Fairfax and Favour and Holland Cooper are two of the brands that I shop from a little bit more now than maybe I have done in the past. I don't like everything from those brands, if I'm completely honest. But the things that I do love, I wear time and time again. I've got a few Holland Cooper coats, Fairfax and Favour blazer. I really, really love all that kind of stuff. Zara, I have a long-standing love-hate relationship with. I will always go back to Zara, but it's a bit hit and miss. I think I want to love everything, but not everything I feel looks great on me. I think it just depends on the fit, the style, the material composition as to whether it looks good. But one brand that I think is a great high street staples kind of brand is H&M. I do like H&M, and I shop there periodically throughout the year. Wow, some of these questions are a bit long-winded, aren't they? You can kind of tell the ones where, like, oh yeah, my middle name, Nicole, versus the ones that I like get a little bit more into. So we've got some things here that are your best new buy and your best old buy. My best old buy are those Melissa shoes and those Vivienne Westwood jeans. I will talk about those two things until the cows come home. But my best new buy, also this week actually, I bought a pair of ankle boots, black ankle boots, really low heel from Michael Kors. If I can, I've got a little video of me wearing them, I think, so I'll insert it here if I can. I never really shop at Michael Kors. I actually think they came up on an Instagram advert. I don't know why. I don't know how the algorithm found me. But I do wear a lot of heeled boots, and I wear a lot of them both with dresses but also under trousers, especially when I'm at work. And sometimes you just don't, depending what kind of trouser you're wearing, you don't want like a big knee boot. It just doesn't fit right, or your trousers then don't sit right. So having an ankle boot is just something that eliminates that problem. And they were in sale. I think I paid £114 for them, and they retailed at about 200, so a decent saving, I think. And the other thing that's probably my best buy for 2024, I would say, not like within the last couple of weeks, is I bought a Burberry trench from Bicester Village when I was there in the summer this year, and I got a saving of, I think, about £700 on that coat. So I mean, they're still pricey coats, but yes, that was a significant saving, and I love it. I wear it all the time. I probably wear it too much, but I do think that's one of those things that's probably never really gonna again go out of style. It can be worn by your trend gals. It can be worn by your not so trend gals. I would probably buy it in other colours if I get the chance. Yeah, love it. Absolutely love it. Ooh, favourite snack? I love snacks. I'm such a snack queen. I'm quite good, like I'll happily snack on fruit and healthy things, but if you really want like the good snacks, crisp and dip. What else do I love? Oh, love a bit of cheese and biscuits. You know, if you can't be bothered to make your dinner and you've got cheese, chutney, biscuits, perfect combo. That is a brilliant snack. And granola cereal yogurt. So when I was a kid, I used to have cereal for breakfast every day, but there's something about cereal, and really boring cereal as well, like Special K or Bran Flakes, as a midnight snack with loads of freezing cold milk. Yeah, they're my favourite snacks. What are your pet peeves? My pet peeves will make me sound really grumpy, but if people breathe too loudly, don't like it. When people chew, I hate chewing noises. And these ASMR where it's all like, no, not for me. Slurping your drink, no, don't like it. Basically anything that's little noises, I don't like it. I think there's probably loads, but I'll probably just sound like a grumpy person. But it's mostly, like I joke with my husband that I think I've got misophonia, because it's annoying noises is mostly what I hate. I don't know if I've got any more, actually. I must do. Hobbies. Oh, hobbies. I haven't done hobbies. Hobbies. I always feel like I don't have hobbies, but there are lots of things I enjoy. So I've spoken in my last video, I think, about kind of enjoying being in the countryside and that sort of thing. I love going on walks and hikes and things like that. And I'm trying to spend time in the garden growing more things. I'm terrible at it, which is probably why I don't class it as a hobby, but it is something that I mostly enjoy. I'm not that patient. That's the bit that I don't enjoy. I go to the gym. I've been out of the gym quite a lot this year, just with various injuries that I'm still kind of struggling with a little bit. But I am back in the gym now, and I've also started Reformer Pilates, and I've also started yoga. I'm not going to say that I'm a yoga girly, because I'm not, but I do go it's kind of under physio's instruction that I go to yoga. I'm rubbish at it. I don't think I'm getting that much better at it the more I go, but I know that these things take time, so it's one of those things that I'm going to persevere with. Reformer Pilates is the most humbling experience I think I've ever had, ever. It looks so easy, and you stand on the carriage and they give you these 2-kilo weights, and there's nothing wrong with whatever weight you can lift. And I'm not a bodybuilder by any stretch, but I've had PTs in the past, gone to gym classes, that kind of thing. I can lift like a little bit of weight. So when I got given these 2 kilos, I was like, what? But it's so hard. It's so hard. So stay humble at Reformer, because those weights feel like you're carrying 10 kilos in each hand, even though you're not. So I've only actually been to 2 sessions of Reformer. I've got another couple of sessions booked, but I'm really looking forward to getting more into that in the new year. I do like cooking and I like baking and things like that, but I wouldn't necessarily say they are hobbies per se. I do enjoy them though. Sometimes I take videos and photos of them, which I might share with you. And actually, yeah, I need to do more of that, I think, next year, because in the last year I've got gifts like a pasta maker, sushi maker, and I don't use them enough. I wanted all these things, but I don't use them enough, so I need to get more use out of those. So I need to make cooking one of my strong hobbies for next year. One thing I'm also thinking about for next year, and this was a childhood hobby of mine, is horse riding. So I used to do horse riding from, I think basically as young, what's the word what am I trying to say? From basically when I could sit on a horse, from as young as that to 21, 22, I think was the last time I rode a horse. And then I've not ridden for the last, 10 to 12 years. And I don't know where it's come from, but I'd really love to get back into it. I'd really love to own my own horse, but I don't know if that's kind of a pie in the sky thing or just something I've been thinking about as a passing moment, or whether it'll happen. But I think the first step's definitely got to be go back to lessons, get back into it, see how you feel from there. So they're probably the main things in terms of hobbies. Oh, and Spanish, I forgot, sorry. I've been doing Duolingo for a long time, but I also go to Spanish lessons pretty much every week. Me and my husband go together, and I think we've basically done the equivalent of like a full year of uni, nearly 2 semesters I think we've done, which is okay. I have waffled on so much, which is classic me, but hopefully there was something in there that you enjoyed, and if there's anything in there that you think, oh, that's my hobby too, like let me give you some tips, or oh, if you love this brand, why don't you try this one as well, let me know, because I'm really open to kind of finding new things that I enjoy. So yeah, I would love it if you'd be willing to share some of the things that you enjoy as well. And if you've got any questions about anything that I've spoken about in this video, then leave me a little comment, and hopefully I will speak to you again soon. So yeah, thanks for joining me, and don't forget to like and subscribe. Bye.